This is Matt coming to you again from the brand new Matt channel. I want to start doing a list of 5 things of everything revolving around VSG. I'm going to give you several lists over the coming weeks of 5 things to consider, 5 things to do when talking about VSG. Now, as you're watching this, let me go ahead and tell you, you need to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Try to help folks out as I am going through this VSG journey, so you can subscribe to my channel, A Brand New Matt, and you can keep up with all of my update videos going through my surgery and now all of the things that I'm posting relating to life after VSG surgery. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you can stay updated with everything that I'm doing here on A Brand New Matt. Now, I am just over 3 months out from my surgery date. I had surgery on May 25th, 2021. And as of yesterday, I have lost 94.5 pounds. Began my journey at 357.5 pounds. And as of yesterday, weighed 263. I'm on my way down to 175 pounds, which is how much I weighed when I got married in 1994. So today, what I want to do is give you my first 5 list. And I want to talk to you about 5 things to consider when you're considering VSG, gastric sleeve surgery, sleeve gastrectomy, bariatric surgery, whatever it is that you're looking for. 5 things that you should consider when considering bariatric surgery. First thing you need to do is you need to settle in your heart that that's what you want to do. Now, my doctor, my personal physician, was the one who mentioned to me about bariatric surgery. I had kind of slightly thought about it in the past, but began dealing with some health issues, weighing almost 360 pounds, that the only thing that would fix it would be losing weight. And so my personal physician is who began that process for me, and she found the place that I ended up going with, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, but I had to settle in my heart that that's what I wanted to do. You have to research the pros and the cons of bariatric surgery, all the good that comes from it, but also things that you need to consider, some of the things that are tough, some of the things that that will affect your way of living. You have to research the pros and cons. You have to consider your health. Being obese, morbidly obese as I was, I have grandkids that I want to be around for. Having lost my dad at 55, not from obesity, but lost my dad at 55. My wife lost her dad, I think he was 56. I want to be around way past that for my grandkids. And so you have to settle in your heart that you really want to make a health change, a true health change in your life. So you got to research those pros and cons. Keep your health always at the forefront of the consideration. Number 2, the number 2 thing you must consider when considering bariatric surgery, VSG, is you have to consider who your surgery center or your surgeon will be. Now, as I said, my personal physician was who put me in for, recommended for me bariatric surgery. And there were several in the area that I could have gone with, but she and I, after talking, decided that Southern Surgical Associates in Greenville, North Carolina is who we would go with. And after researching them and how reputable they were and how many surgeries Dr. Chapman and Dr. Naziri had performed, tens of thousands of surgeries over the last couple of decades, there was no doubt that that's who I wanted to go with. Dr. Naziri ended up being my personal surgeon and my physician for this process. And they were also listed through Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina as I believe they're called a Blue Diamond Surgery Center. I think that's what they're called, which got me an additional discount because of how reputable they were. But you have to research who you want to do this, and you can do that through your personal physician. you can look on the internet and look that way, but many times your own personal physician or maybe someone will recommend to you who to go with. You want to make sure that the surgeon and the surgical center that is going to be taking care of you knows what they are doing. Now, some people consider other countries. Some of the people that I watch on the internet on a regular basis, they have gone to Mexico and had their surgery. Some have gone to Turkey and other places, and I'm not pro or con either way because I don't know. I don't know those places, don't know anything about those places, but you may want to research that based on your financial situation, insurance situation, whatever the case may be. You also want to consider the type of surgery with your surgeon and your surgery center, and your surgeon will talk to you about this. Now, there are several options. There is what I had, the VSG, vertical sleeve gastrectomy, or gastric sleeve as it's called, where they remove about 85% of your stomach. There is the gastric bypass, where they remove basically your esophagus from the top of your stomach, connect it down to your lower intestine, and bypass your stomach that way. And you can research that as well. I think they very seldom do they ever do the gastric band, where they put the sleeve, the little band, plastic band around your stomach, or around the entrance to your stomach, and it constricts how much food you take in. There are different options. I chose the vertical sleeve gastrectomy after talking with folks in the surgical center there at Southern Surgical, and I have not regretted one bit why I chose VSG. So the second thing to consider is to research your surgery center and the surgeon that you want to be in charge of your bariatric surgery. Number 3, insurance. You're going to have to take into consideration insurance or your financial situation. Now, when it comes to insurance, most insurances now do cover bariatric surgery because it actually lowers their cost of what you probably have to take through medications and your doctor visits and your personal health care. Many folks deal with diabetes, which I never had to, but I did have blood pressure issues and gout issues and sleep apnea issues and other things like that. Insurance now most of the time will take care of bariatric surgery. Some have waiting periods, some do not. All have pre-qualifications that you have to go through. But you have to consider how much you're going to have to pay if you use insurance. There are deductibles and out-of-pockets and all of those things. Some folks do not have insurance. And what you need to consider and what you need to think about is that most bariatric surgeries will cost anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000. Some of that can be taken care of, or a lot of that can be taken care of through your insurance. But if you pay out of pocket, most surgery centers require you to pay for your surgery all, if not all, most of all up front. So you have to talk to your insurance company, get all of their recommendations, talk to them ahead of time. I had many conversations with Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina before I had surgery. So you have to consider insurance. You have to consider, if you have it, you need to look at all of those things, waiting periods, out of pockets, all of those things. And if you're going to pay for yourself, pay it all for yourself, you need to consider how you're going to pay that. And a lot of banks, financial institutions will give you a loan based on a medical situation that has a lower rate. All right, number 4, and I'm just going through these things quickly. I don't want to drag this video out, but number 4, the fourth thing you need to consider when considering bariatric surgery is you need to prepare yourself for major life change. There are months of eating restrictions. I'm a little over 3 months out from my bariatric surgery. Think about this. I went 17 days without a bite of food. I was on a liquid diet a few days before surgery, and then 14 days after surgery. I went 17 days without a bite of food. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't, take in nutrition. I was doing protein shakes. And right after my surgery, I had to do one 12-ounce shake spread out throughout the day. So 6 times a day, I was drinking 2 ounces of protein shake. And then you have several weeks of eating pureed foods. That means everything you put in your mouth is liquid or pureed. And then you have up to, with the surgery center that I use and my surgeon, I have to wait 6 months now before I can get back to a regular diet. I am on a soft food diet now, which means everything that I eat has to be fork tender. Doesn't have to be pureed. Some things may still have to be, but it has to be fork tender. You can't eat things like pork chops and tenderloin and steak, anything that's fibrous and tough. You can't have nuts and raw vegetables and those kind of things. There's a whole list of restrictions. You have to consider that you're preparing yourself for major life change when it comes to bariatric surgery. All of those eating restrictions, all the vitamins that you have to take, and there's just a lot that comes into to bariatric surgery, and hope that you realize that when you do have bariatric surgery, you do not go back to eating the way you did before. I will not go back to eating how I did before. When my 6 months is up and I go back to a regular diet, I may go back to eating steak or pork chops or tenderloin or bread or rice or pasta, those kind of things that I cannot have right now, but I will not go back to eating the same amounts. What I hold right there, that will be what I eat in a meal. It was nothing for me pre-surgery to polish off a double quarter pounder, a 10-piece McNugget, a large fry, and a Coke at McDonald's, and not think twice about it. That would be that much food, which I would never do that again, but that much food now would be 3 days worth of eating for me. I do not plan to go back to eating it. I hear folks say I had the surgery, or they talk about folks who had the surgery and they end up gaining all their weight back. I do not plan on doing that. I paid too much for this surgery. I have sacrificed way too much to want to go back to the way I was before. I feel so good now. My energy level is fantastic. I'm losing weight at a great rate, and I feel good, and I do not want to lose this feeling. So you have to prepare yourself for major life change after bariatric surgery. I had a food addiction, and I do not want that food addiction. I can count on one hand, since I've had bariatric surgery, how many times I've been hungry. There have been times in my life when I've been hungry that many times in a day, and I've just been hungry that many times in 3 months now. So that food addiction that you have, and just trust me, you understand this when I say this, if you're considering gastric surgery, bariatric surgery, you have a food addiction. And that's something that has to go away when you are considering VSG, when you're considering gastric bypass, whatever it is. You have to realize it's a major life change. And then number 5, you might as well begin, if you're considering bariatric surgery, you might as well begin a healthy lifestyle today. Today is the day to start being healthy. Cut out sugars, cut out sodas, cut out high carbs that do you absolutely no good. Now, before I began the process, I had cut out soft drinks. I cut out sugar a long time ago. Still eating candy bars from time to time and would eat sweets from time to time, but I had quit putting regular sugar, white sugar, into anything. I went to Splenda several years ago, but would still eat, sugared foods from time to time. But before I began the process, I cut out soft drinks. I was doing a modified keto diet, and I'd cut out a lot of carbs and those kind of things. I began the healthy lifestyle before I had surgery. As a matter of fact, my surgery center wanted me to lose 5% of my weight before surgery. So they wanted me to lose 18 pounds before surgery. I ended up losing 27 pounds by the time I had surgery. So I cut out sodas, I cut out sugar, I cut out high carbs. I began walking. I joined a golf course just down the road here on a special deal that they had, and me and some of my friends began walking the golf course, and that's how I lost weight, 27 pounds before I had surgery. That shows that you are you are in for the long haul. If you're willing to lose that weight before, you need to begin that healthy lifestyle today for you, if not for anybody else. So those are just 5 quick things I think it's important to consider if you're considering bariatric surgery, if you're considering vertical sleeve gastrectomy, the gastric sleeve, if you're considering gastric bypass, whatever. You have to settle in your heart that that's what you want to do. You need to research surgery centers and surgeons that you want to take care of you in your surgery process. Number 3, you need to consider insurance. If you don't have insurance, how you're going to pay for it. Number 4, you need to prepare yourself for the life change that comes with bariatric surgery. And then number 5, you need to begin a healthy lifestyle today. So that's my 5 things to consider, my top 5 things to consider if you're considering bariatric surgery. Once again, my name's Matt. Hope you'll like this video, subscribe to my channel, and keep up with all the things that I'm going to be bringing to you in the coming days. And also look at my journey when I began at 357.5 pounds and see the progression that I've made over these last 3 months. God bless you. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on down the road.